today's session of our Finding the Right School series. Find the Right School series brought to you by Breaks and Butter Educational Consultants. We're so glad to have you here today, and we're especially excited to welcome our parents, guardians, and yes, those that have children you cater for, you're aspiring for the best of your child, you're looking for the right school. You just want to make sure your child has the best kind of future. We're here for you, and we are selecting the right school. We are here at the Finding the Right School series to help give you a clearer perspective, bringing you different schools and all they have to offer, and so that we can help guide you in your decision making. And that's why today's theme, a top school or the right school, is such an important conversation for us today. Today, we shine the spotlight on Lansing College, a school known for not just academic excellence, but for strong values, vibrant community, and deep commitment to students' development. And of course, we have the representing Lansing College today. In a moment, you will get to meet her. But to guide us through that conversation today is none other but our manager here at Brains and Butter, Mrs. Adetola Aneyo, and she'll be taking us, introducing our guest to us and just taking it from here. At this point, I'd like to bring in Mrs. Adetola Aneyo. It's over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ennis. That was amazing, an amazing introduction and opening remarks. Good morning, everyone. I think it's actually, very early for some of our parents. I can assure you that they will join in soon. So it's so good to have the Lansing College team. I can already see Diana Cree. I can already see Mr. Payne on the call, and Tamilore is already locked in. So I will quickly just, give a brief of Mrs. Diana, and then at some point she would also introduce a team on the call as well. So let me quickly do the profile before I speak too much. So Mrs. Diana Cree joined Lansing in 2016 from the National Foundation of Educational Research, where she was Director of Marketing, Impact and Sales from 2011. Her role at Lansing as the Executive Director of External Relations, the honor as oversight of the Integrated Marketing and Communications Plan for Lansing Senior School and Sixth Form, its prep schools in Hove and Worthing, and Little Lansing Day Nursery and Forest School. This covers marketing, admissions, fundraising, and alumni relations. She has worked extensively in education with schools, further and higher education, business schools, and varied national education stakeholders. She has also spent 10 years working as a strategy and marketing consultant. Her clients included Warwick University, Oxford Brookes University, Chichester College, the 157 Group of Colleges, and the Center for Excellence in Leadership. Hannah was educated at Wells Cathedral School, boarding from the age of 6, wow, and also at the Aston School, Lincoln. She has an MBA distinction from Ashbridge. Hannah's grandfather, father, uncle, and cousin were all educated at Lansing College. So you can be rest assured that we have the right hand to speak to you about this school this morning. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Mrs. Diana Cree. You have the floor right now, but if you could do me a favor, parents, please just use the emoji, use the sticker. This is an amazing profile. When I read the fact that you started boarding at 6, I think you would like to tell us more, because our lead consultant at Brains and Butter also has something similar in that range. So it would really be nice for us to have more, have an idea of how that was for you. Thank you so much for honoring our invite this morning. I would like to hand over the mic to you. Please, parents, put your hands together, use your sticker, use your emoji. This is an amazing profile. You're welcome, Mr. Diana Cree.
Thank you very much, and welcome to all the families joining from a very sunny Lancing College, actually, as you can see in the background. I'm thrilled to be talking to you, and I come to Lagos at least twice a year to meet our families and to meet prospective families. So I hope on my next visit I can probably meet some of you as well. I've got some colleagues with me today, so I'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. But our aim really is to give you insights into the college as a destination school, tell you a little bit about it, but also give you an insight to what life is like when your children are with us. And that's why I'm really thrilled to be sharing the panel today with some of my colleagues. We've got some films to share with you. We've got some slides to share with you, and we really want to hear your questions as well. But maybe my colleagues can introduce themselves first. Maybe Mr. Payne.
Morning, everyone. Lovely to meet everyone this morning. My name's Mr. Payne. I'm a housemaster at Lancing College, and I've been at the college for 13 years now.
Thank you. And Tamalori?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for the opportunity. My name is Tamilore Akinshate. I'm an upper sixth form student in Lancing College, and I take politics, English, and business. And I've been in the college for over 2 years now. Thank you.
And Tamalori has just finished his exam, so I'm sure he's very relieved to be completing his time and looking forward. But he will tell you more about that in a minute. So can we show the first film that I had ready?
This is Lancing College. And incredible things happen here.
Here, you can be competitive, not just with yourself, but as part of a genuine team.
Here, you could be expressive, not just learning to do, but understanding how to truly perform.
Here, you can be interesting, not just someone who conforms to what others think they should be.
Here, you can be stretched, not just taught to get the grade, but challenged to really know.
Here, you can be at home, not just attending a school, but belonging to a second family.
Here, you can be understood, listened to, known.
And here, you can be appreciated, not only for your academic successes, but for everything that makes you the person you are. This is Lancing College, and here you can be inspired, you can be brilliant, and you can be you.
Thank you very much. There's several reasons for wanting to share that with you. We're very proud of it, but I think what it does is it really speaks to the power of Lancing, because I don't think there's any school that will have had the whole school community involved in the production of that. That involved, all the students were in the chapel, they were involved, there were people in different scenes, but also at the same time, all the staff were involved, all the people who work around Lancing spent time moving things out, moving equipment out of the chapel. Teachers were involved in setting up the scenes. And I think the community of Lancing is its power. And that will hopefully come across. And I think the film, more than anything, really demonstrates that. The children really love being in it and being part of it. And I hope that was great. Right, I'm hoping now to be able to share my slides. Somehow. Can somebody help me how to do this? Here we go. Share slides. Here we go. Right. Is that us shared, do you think?
It's about to show.
Okay.
Now we can see it.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. These are just some slides we're going to talk through amongst us, but just to give you, to set the scene really, Lancing is one senior school that starts from 13 going to 18, but we also have 4 satellites really. We have 3 prep schools and a nursery. So we are very much taking children, as you can see from our nursery, from the age of 2 months through to 18 years. So really, it's a real family of schools, and you don't have to come to all of them. You don't have to start at 2 months and end at 18. But actually what we find is families maybe start off in Little Lancing and then they might go somewhere else, or they might go to the prep schools. But actually it's a real family feel, with children from the nursery coming up to the chapel, and children, students in the senior school going down to work in the nursery. So we are a very strong and successful group of schools. We are based just close to Brighton, which is on the south coast of England, and I always say it's the sunniest part of England. But we're, as you can see from the photo, in the midst of a 200-acre national park. So around us there are green fields, there are playing fields, there is fresh air, and that's part of the spaciousness that you get at Lancing. We are surrounded by space, but actually we're creating space for thought and for play and for relationships to develop, and for people to make really, really strong connections. We're 60% boarding, 44% girls. So today is Saturday. Saturday school is happening at Lancing. There will be students in lessons, and then this afternoon they'll be playing sports. So it's very much organised around a boarding school. So students come and they live with us largely for the whole of the academic year, except for obviously holidays and half terms. But over a weekend, there'll be over 200, 250 students staying in the school. So this isn't a school that empties out at a weekend. And I know that's something that families from overseas are really conscious about, is, will my child be one of only 10 children left or 20 children left? No, the weekends are full and active at Lancing. We have 42 different nationalities in the school. We're very proud of that. And we are also 70%, 67% British passports. So it's a real mix. It's a collective of cultures and mixes that happen. And I think what that brings is a real view of the world. So although we're on top of a hill, we're always thinking outwardly, going out outwardly, but also thinking outwardly. And the speakers coming in, and I think our job is to prepare young men and young women for the world of work and for life after school. And you do that best by trying to mirror what is going on in the world and the people in the world and the cultures they're going to meet. So that transition from school, a British education, to wherever they go in the world is one that is more seamless than you might get in some schools. So that's just setting the scene, really. The shape of the school, we're at our largest ever. We've got our biggest sixth form, as I say, 60% boarding, international pupils. So we're in a really, really strong situation. So you may hear of some schools finding the UK market really difficult. We're actually not finding that so much. We're actually expecting to be as big, maybe slightly bigger this coming year in September. So very much a powerhouse of boarding schools in the UK. So this is the time of year when we're sort of looking back at success, but also beginning to look forward. So just a couple of looking back. So, our children are hoping, we've got all our medical students have got places. We've had 4 students this year who've preached in chapel, which is really good. And Tamilori may want to tell us about that at some point. We've got children going to university, US universities. It's been a really full and packed year, as always at Lancing. But I think it's, each year, when you enter the CANSAT competition, which is when students are designing and developing a satellite which is projected as high as it can into space with all the sensors that are in. And we were in the finalists in the competition of that. We've got children who are winning writing competitions, playwriting competitions, history competitions. So it's a really high achieving school. And hopefully one where, we can take every child to be the best that they can be. And that's why Be Inspired, Be Brilliant, Be You is so strong, is because it's about the individual when you come to Lancing, rather than a sausage machine and we want everybody to turn out the same. Our job is to get the best out of every individual. Could we briefly show a film from our new headmaster who arrives in September?
Okay, Diane, can you please stop share so I can share the other video?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Scott Crawford and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joining Lancing College as headmaster in September. A little bit about me. I studied biology at Oxford and completed a PhD in developmental biology.
Ernest, we can't hear the video anymore. He might be.
It's the network from his end. Yeah,
Yes.
because you see that the video is paused.
Oh, he's actually playing here.
Oh, okay. You might want to start again because it's paused from our hand here. We can't see.
Okay. By the depth of its character. Lancing is a school with heart.
Just a second. Let me just go over it.
Think whilst Ernest is getting ready to share that again, it's up to such a nice place. Lansing is a school with heart.
And ambition. Cosmopolitan in makeup, yes, but also truly global in... Hello, my name is Scott Crawford and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joining Lancing College as headmaster in September. A little bit about me. I studied biology at Oxford and completed a PhD in developmental biology at the University of York. And throughout my professional career, I've had the privilege of working in both co-educational and single-sex independent schools. In my time, I've taken on a variety of different leadership roles. I've been a head of department, a housemaster, a head of faculty, and a deputy head. I've also served as a school governor and inspector. From the very first moment I visited Lancing, I was struck not only by its breathtaking setting, but by the depth of its character. Lancing is a school with heart and ambition. Cosmopolitan in makeup, yes, but also truly global in its outlook. It's a place where young people are encouraged to be thoughtful, open-minded, proud citizens of the world. And what has moved me most, though, is the power of the boarding ethos here, how it galvanizes the community and fosters lifelong friendships and shared purpose. And this is evident in day students as much as boarders. And that sense of belonging, of being part of something greater than oneself, is something I value deeply and I'm very excited to nurture further. Lancing is already in a remarkable place. Under Mr. Dominic Oliver's outstanding leadership, the school has flourished. I'm enormously grateful for the thoughtful and generous handover Dominic is offering. And he leaves the school in a position of real strength, with the highest pupil roll in its history and a vibrant community that is confident, successful, and ready for the next decade of growth and development. And my ambition as its next head is to build on that momentum, to continue strengthening Lancing's position as the preeminent boarding and day school in the Southeast, attracting families locally, regionally, and from around the world. This is a school that blends academic ambition with intellectual curiosity, co-curricular richness with pastoral care, tradition with innovation. It's an alchemical mix that shapes confident, kind, and grounded young people. Above all, my aim as Lancing's next head is very clear, and that's to ensure that every young person here flourishes intellectually and personally, and is supported in finding their unique place in the world. I really can't wait to meet the pupils, families, staff, alumni, and everyone who makes up the extraordinary Lancing community. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you.
I'm just picking up the slides again. Right. So Dr. Crawford has been on site a number of times, and I think he can't wait to start. Actually, there's always a long handover between headmasters, and he's increasingly keen to be with us in September. So, and I think a biologist, a scientist at the head of the school is great. He's coming from a very high-performing academic school in Oxford, so I'm sure there will be a continued focus on the academics in the school. I'm going to move a couple of slides forward. So how am I going to do this? There we go. I'm going to move a few forward so you can hear a little bit more from my colleagues. So there was certainly very, very good, strong links to pastoral care. And I'd like to share the panel now with Mr. Payne, who's one of our housemasters, who can talk about actually his role, but also the role of care during the and sort of enrolment onto the school. So Mr. Payne.
Hi. Yes, really nice to talk to people about boarding. I think, as Dr. Crawford was saying, that's really the kind of the community ethos is something that really underpins everything we do at Lancing. One of the things that we put in place actually as a kind of educational establishment is we set up a series of tenets that we thought should underpin all different areas of the education, pastorally, academically, and we call them the 5 R's. And there are various different things that we think are important to kind of culcate in pupils, from kind of resilience and responsibility. But the really important one at the heart of boarding is reciprocity, the idea of kind of working together. And I think we're really keenly aware that the boarding houses are the home for lots of our pupils, for all of the pupils, for a good part of the day. We want that sense of a shared purpose, a shared place, to be right at the core of what we do, for them to feel really kind of happy and at home in that shared boarding space. And if that's in place, then they can go off and kind of launch themselves into the incredible range of kind of academic, dramatic, musical, whatever passion or interest they have. If they've got that kind of core support in the boarding house, then that will let them kind of go out into the world in the most exciting way. And we really want to kind of encourage them to feel excited about that journey. And that comes from the real knowledge that the staff here have of all the pupils. I think something that's special about Lancing is the boarding staff are also teaching staff. So actually we teach a lot of our pupils. We know what their academic journey is like. We know what the kind of stresses, strains, pressure points might be, how to support them. And we're also knowing them in that more informal, familial kind of pastoral role that comes in the boarding house. And the house team, the central house team, are all residents. So actually we're sharing not just kind of the beautiful kind of learning space of Lancing, but our homes as well. So in the boarding house, you will have a good number of resident staff. So kind of people who are there day and night. So there'll be a housemaster, usually with, I've got my 2 little girls, both at Little Lancing, both about to go to the prep school, heading on that kind of 18-year journey. But yeah, we live in the house with our families. We get to know them really kind of day to day. All of the houses will have an assistant housemaster. So again, someone else who's resident in-house takes on some of those responsibilities of a housemaster, someone that you might be in contact with on a reasonably frequent basis as well. The houses tend to have graduate assistants as well, so younger teachers kind of learning about teaching, learning about perhaps being involved in the boarding system, often with a kind of a sporting, a musical or a dramatic kind of passion, and helping the house there. So there's quite a lot of staff that are living with them, getting to know them. We all have kind of regular meetings with the pupils, but also with each other, talking about kind of the issues that we think we need to be kind of keeping up to date with. How do we help our pupils? So there's a lot of kind of regular feedback amongst ourselves as we're looking to kind of guide the pupils in a house level, but also the housemasters all come together and talk about how can we best support all of the pupils kind of across the school. And if anyone that has a child in boarding school already. I think probably the other key person to mention is a matron in-house, one of the real kind of incredible supports. Not a member of the teaching staff, but a kind of a full-time kind of pastoral carer in the house, very much like mum in-house. If you need snacks, if you need emotional support, if you have lost your socks, anything, kind of nothing too small, nothing too big for the matron. Her office is next to mine, and I think through the whole day, boys are going there for things kind of big and small, and they just love their matron. And I think that's the same. Whichever house you're in, there's a fierce loyalty towards the kind of the matrons, and just the kind of the love and care that they get from matrons are kind of a really lovely thing that kind of flourishes in all the houses as well. So I think, yeah, we really want to have kind of lots of people that people turn to that are academic staff, that they all know where our houses are. They can come and get us any point in the day. So lots of people that they can turn to that are kind of senior. Again, we're aware that this is a really big transition often for people into boarding school, and we want those networks also to extend across peer groups as well. So there's a lot of attention that we pay to mentoring in-house as well. So I think when people come into the boarding houses, they will tend to have a mentor from either the year above, perhaps if they're joining in the third form, if they're joining at perhaps in the fourth form or in the lower six into kind of an existing year group, they might have a mentor from that current year group, someone to, again, do things big or small. Do you know where room 17 is? How do I get there? Have I got someone to sit with for lunch? Do I start to know kind of the rhythms and geography of the place? So someone that will really kind of guide them through their journey, share their kind of hard-won experience of Lancing. So really setting up those kind of peer networks, and that's supported across the school with a number of other bodies as well. So in each house, a number of the upper six will be chosen to be house captains. They're kind of people that we think are really kind of responsible, welcoming, people that kind of model the ethos of the houses and the college. And they help with the induction, looking after pupils, welcoming them, being kind of friendly faces for them to turn to. And that sits alongside kind of school-wide positions. We have a group of peer supporters taken from across the sixth form, who are another kind of strand of pastoral care. They're pupils that have volunteered to take on some training around kind of counselling, pastoral care, and they wear kind of rather snazzy green t-shirts, green wristbands to identify themselves across the school. So if there are things that pupils want to talk about, a friendly face, maybe it's not always staff they want to turn to first, there's also kind of pupils that they really get to know in a really kind of powerful way. So hopefully that real sense of being looked out for, cared for across the school is really kind of something that's at the centre of everything we do in the college.
And yeah, maybe say something about the shape of the day and the shape of the week. Actually, you know, what time does it all start happening in the morning?
So, I mean, it's a very busy day and a very busy week. So day tends to start, we have 7:30 breakfast. If you are younger down the school, you can collect your phone. They've been locked in the office overnight, so you get a bit of kind of downtime, screen-free time when you're younger. You can have that till kind of 8 o'clock. 8:15 is house roll call. So it's a nice chance for the house to all get together. Usually there's a house assembly on a Monday and a Thursday. So there's a bit more time to talk as a house. Maybe I might get the house captains to talk about particular issues. What's happening this week. We might be getting kind of house sports teams ready for kind of competitions across the week. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, there are services that take place in the chapel. So there's a full chapel service on a Wednesday morning. There's a headmaster's assembly on a Friday morning. So quite kind of busy in the morning. Then from about kind of 9 o'clock till 3:30 tends to be kind of academic lessons, obviously with a space for kind of lunch. And then from the 3:30 to the 6 o'clock stage, there are kind of a whole host of sporting and co-curricular activities as well. So a huge kind of dynamic number of things going on, some set sport times, but also I think there's 250 clubs, if not more, kind of a week going on. So a very kind of diverse range of very traditional sports, football, hockey, cricket, golf, then more unusual things like fives, pupil-driven clubs. There's a newly founded philosophy club, Dungeons and Dragons kind of board games club, but a kind of a very vast array of whatever your passion is. There will be someone else here that kind of runs a society that lets them kind of follow that. And I think one thing that's, as I said, kind of more than 250 clubs, it's a almost kind of dazzling array of these things. They have their personal tutor from the school that talks them through what kind of clubs activities they might want to do, how do they structure their week. They can really get quite a bespoke timetable of events that they work out with their tutor, and all of those people, house captains, mentors, are really good at helping pupils decide what's the right mix of things for them, what's the kind of the right ambitious mix of events they can do across their week. So
Brilliant.
Busy up until 6, and then it's kind of evening school 7 to 8:30, and then they get a bit of a rest and downtime.
Fantastic. I think now we should hear what the lived experience is from Tamalori, who joined us in the lower sixth. Tammy, tell us your journey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Scree, and it's lovely to speak to everyone today. So I actually joined Lantern College from Nigeria. I schooled in Green Spring School in the Lekki campus. And I remember actually looking for, I was always someone who wanted to do politics from the get-go, but I never had the opportunity there was just not, schools don't do the traditional subjects. They do the schools in Nigeria just they do the traditional subjects. So I was trying to look for something that was specialized for me. So I actually remember going on an education tour, an education visit, and then the very first thing that struck me was out of all the people that were there while stands were setting up, Mrs. Cree was very prompt. She had her stand ready and everything was good to go. And then I had my mind quite made up that I was going to another school because I was just there to write an exam. And then what struck me about Lansing was its passion to integrate both integrate different cultures into a beautiful learning space where everyone can get to know each other and can get to know their cultures. And that was something surprising for me. And it was something that struck my parents that even when we were done talking, they were like, "Oh, you're going to that school." And it was just such a and throughout my time in London, it's been beautiful. So I'm in Gibbs at the boarding house, and we talking about pastoral care. I've seen that quite a lot, really. I'm always From time to time, you will see me in my housemaster's study chatting with my housemaster about university applications or what has happened in school. Or from time to time, I'm sometimes always privileged to have a tutor in our house. So we have the house tutor system. And sometimes privileged to have a house tutor who happens to be my teacher in a subject. So I have that opportunity to go for academic clinics that are outside that no normally allocated time for academic clinics where I can get help and support from my subjects. It's always a relatively after the sporting fixtures on Saturday, we have opportunities to go to Brighton and Homebush runs on the Sunday morning. And we have a 11:50 just right after the 11:15 brunch. So, but it's been a really the boarding experience in London has just been nice because you get to know, you get to talk to people and you get to make new friends. And I've got to sharing that culture a lot with people in my house. Just last week, actually, I shared someone a plate of jollof rice, and he was from Hong Kong, and he was really, really happy about it. So I don't think you get that in other schools where there's that sense of a community and a blend of cultures really just integrating in that system really. And that's what you get in Lansing. It's just really a school where different people come together and they get to know each other and they get to know themselves better. And also with a beautiful academic, but I always just say that if you come in as an average student, you're never going to leave as an average student because Lansing, the academic support fused with the pastoral support really is just amazing. That helps you a lot. Yeah.
And Tammy, you're being very bashful and not telling everybody that you've actually been a student leader this year. You've been a prefect and you've preached in chapel.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Cruz. So actually, I have been a school prefect. We're a team of 22. And what essentially we do from a day-to-day basis is to help support we're like the channel, the voice of channel between management and the students. So we attend weekly meetings with a headmaster on a Friday where we just talk about different issues that have happened in school. Um, and we also take on a couple of other responsibilities. So whether it's open morning talks or we have tours to do, it's just been really, really nice. And in this, you see that diversity a lot in our in just also in the leadership um in the school prefect team where you have different nationalities, people from South Africa, from Nigeria, from different from Hong Kong on that prefect body contributing their quota and telling a lot and just representing a lot of issues and just to talk about that issue, and it really helps a lot. And on the other side, so while most of my days is spent as a school prefect, I also just double as the head sacristan. So I'm basically I help to work. I work closely with our chaplain and our verger to help with chapel services. So I would send out routers for our sacristan team, um, for our services, or I would either be juggling if someone has asked that they can't do a role, I'm having to help to maybe get replacements for those roles. So it's been very fun doing those two tasks because I've improved on myself as a leader. When I reflect, I often say that in someone who has been here for 2 years and has risen to become a school prefect and a head sacristan, it's not something that I would have expected, but it's a school like Lansing. Lansing picks that talent you never have seen in yourself and they help you to nurture and nurture and nurture it. And that talent was something when I wrote the house film for the screenplay for our house, for the house film competition, where I didn't even know that I could write a script for playwriting. But it was very fun. It was a very nice process. And I just discovered that, oh, I have a creative and a quite innovative way of doing things. But I think that's Lansing. When you come into Lansing, you find that even if you went someone that was playing sport or interested in music, you start to find that you find yourself in the college and you really just start to embrace it really.
Thank you. I'm just going to share a couple more faces for you really. And Mr. Payne is going to help me with a couple of these, but this is just some pictures of, oh, hang on, there we go. That's the easiest way to do it. Here's some other students I just thought you might be interested to hear about. So, Mr. Payne, do you just want to tell us Majafi is in your house?
Yes, Majafi's in my house, who joined in the sixth form, and yeah, he's been a really kind of great addition to our house. Really kind of dynamic member of our team. He became a house captain actually as well. He really immediately kind of came and modelled all those kind of virtues that we look for. So both an incredible academic, looking at straight A stars. He's got a place at Imperial to go off and do biomedical sciences, but really lived the academic life as well as that kind of boarding life as well. Kind of really great with the younger kids and really kind of passing on the values very quickly to kind of the new generation of joiners. And his brother Hinoshi's just joined in the lower six as well, on a kind of similarly strong academic path, kind of high flying in sciences as well. And I was lucky to teach Tamalori down in the bottom corner as well.
Excellent. So just a couple. So Tish is also just finishing his A levels. He's been house captain. He's also been starring in quite a lot of our plays. Actually, he's really found a real niche in his acting. And together with Tammy, actually, they both won the house debating competition last year. Many skills there. And he's going off to USC, or planning to go off to USC to study politics. So another key star, and he also preached in chapel. So there's certainly a theme. Just going back to last year, Io. Io was here last year, came from a UK girls only school to Lancing for the sixth form. She was also a prefect, and she is currently at London School of Economics studying language, culture and society. And she came actually back to school this week. So fabulous to see her as part of 15 students who came back to talk about their universities and their courses to those that are currently in the lower sixth. And she, together with Boogie in the top right-hand corner, are real examples of actually, although you leave Lancing in the upper sixth when you've done your A-levels, you actually don't leave, because so many of them are coming back to talk to other students. And last Saturday, we had another careers event, and we had 24 professions in the room. 12 of them were actually former students, we call OL, so former students, alumni, who were coming back. So there's very much a joining a community for life, and our alumni is over 8,000 around the world, and these young people are just starting that journey. Boogie is currently at Warwick studying psychology. She was also a prefect, and she was somebody else who preached in chapel. So some really fine examples of leaders in the school just leaving, but also have left before, and those to come forward. So I think, Dr. Allo, I think probably it's best to take questions. I have more slides, but I'm sure there may be some questions that you or some of your guests may have.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much. Like, I'm so impressed, so glad, so excited. I particularly like the leadership opportunities that our children as West African families are being given at Lansing College. And Tammy, you're joining such an amazing alumni from Lansing. One of the things, in fact, one of the very first times I heard about Lansing many years back was when a client said to me, "Oh, did you know that the former a Ghanaian client, that the former then he was the president at the time, that the president of Ghana attended Lansing College." I'm like, are you for real? Oh wow, how amazing is that? And then I visit Lansing College, and I see that legacy has continued till date, and you continue to give West African boys and girls amazing opportunities to flourish and to thrive. And obviously, they took me around, and their confidence was just amazing. When you have a beautiful location, amazing facilities, fantastic staff, it's how that feeds into the student, how that feeds into the child, and the outcome that really speaks volumes. And I could clearly see a lot of that happening. So it's not for me to talk as much, because you can clearly tell that I'm just so thankful for all the many things I've heard this morning. It's for our parents now. So our amazing parents who are on the call, and those who will be watching the replay of this on YouTube, because we're streaming on YouTube also, please drop a comment below, or you know how to reach us. But those of you who are live on the call with us on Zoom, please, 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 we want to hear your voice. It will be great to hear you actually ask a question. But if you're not in a place where you can speak and you'd rather type your question, please use the Q&A box to send in your question. So I see that we have an anonymous attendee, but I think this is a personal question for Mrs. Cree about her experience boarding at the age of 6. I'm sure that got people's attention, and how you would advise parents who are skeptical of sending their children to boarding school at an early age. And if you could also tell us how, from what I guess the prep schools obviously have boarding, if you have a boarding prep school, and how early on they take the children in those schools. And there's another question what sets the Lansing College academic program apart from other UK boarding schools. But again, parents, please just use your emoji to raise your hand, and you'll be able to speak and ask a question. So please let us know if you have any questions. So I'll pause now and hand over to Mrs. Cree to answer those two questions.
Okay, I'll take the first one, and then I think Mr. Payne, if you want to start the second one, and then I can add something if I need to. So yeah, I don't actually think you're allowed to start boarding at the age of 6 anymore. Now I'm a few years past school, as you will spot. I mean, I have never looked back from it. So I think, I would probably say it's not right for every family. So we've just the prep school that we've got that just takes boarding is not going to take it from 26. It'll be 27 when you could start, and that would be years 7 and 8. So you'll be starting at sort of 10, 11, the age of 10, 11. And where we're going to have our prep school boarding is actually, it's not within the big school, it's within a really small environment. And I think that's really special, because actually sending a 10, 11-year-old into a really big school that takes up to 18, I think is quite an ask. And some schools would do it well, but we wanted to keep our prep school boarding in year 7 and 8 separate within a boarding school environment, because I think that's when year 7 and 8 is they're really formative years, and we think that's better within a smaller school rather than within a bigger school. I was homesick a little, but not hugely. When I was at boarding school, it was because my parents were living in Ghana. So I was flying backwards and forwards. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was, I had to leave because my parents came back to England, and I was devastated to leave. But, I think I'm a committed person in terms of boarding, but I do know it's not for every family and every child.
I think to speak perhaps to the academic program and the ways in which it's different. I think probably the two strands I'd think about would be the breadth of what we offer. So I think one of the things that's particularly special about Lancing is, in addition to all of the core subjects that we offer, we have programs that run through. I think kind of particularly powerful would be things like our super curriculum that we offer in the sixth form, something where off the regular timetable, there's a chance for pupils to do really kind of significant research, get lessons from teachers in areas of their own kind of passion. It might be kind of learning things around robotics, computing. It can be things where you study. There's one route called the knowledge, which is kind of perhaps getting to grips with really kind of canonical books, works of philosophy or literature. So there's a kind of a strand that's really looking for giving kind of breadth and specialization, which is kind of beyond what you do in the curriculum, and encouraging really kind of people to go into the kind of level of detail you might start to do at the first level of university. So it's often really fun for teachers because they're really pushing up to kind of the higher end of what we like to do. And it also really pushes pupils to get into that kind of mindset that will help them create amazing applications to institutions beyond Lancing, but also kind of thrive really academically as well. And then I think probably the thing about the kind of support that we offer, I think the amount of kind of staff time, because so many people are resident, that kind of 3:30 to 6 o'clock stage, as well as all of the clubs and activities that we offer. Staff are on site. We offer one-to-one access to kind of staff across all afternoon. So if there ever are things where you need to get some help, get some support, you know that there's a kind of a teacher who knows you really well and can offer kind of tailored one-to-one advice. You hear a lot about people having to kind of find extra tutors or get tutoring outside of school. That's just not something we have to do at Lancing because there's so much access and support from staff. And I think another strand which is really important is we spend a lot of time trying to get pupils to think about their learning. So I mentioned our kind of 5 R's, the kind of educational tenets that we get. We also have lessons called kind of metacognition. They're kind of special lessons as part of kind of the third form up, where pupils are taught to think about ways they learn, different styles of learning, how might they strengthen themselves as learners. So we really want people to think self-critically about their strengths, any areas of weakness, and how do we help them kind of adapt so they're just really kind of honing themselves when it comes to revision, when it comes to how do I do extended essays, how do I think critically in a world of AI, all those kind of things. So really wanted them to think reflectively about themselves.
Yeah, and I think what I would add to that is good academics. I think everybody is expecting good academics, because that you need that to get to your next stage. But Tammy and Tish and all our other students, to get to the next stage, you need the best teacher, you need the best support. But actually, that's not enough anymore. It's a competitive job market once they leave university. So I think what we do really well is we build those transferable skills. So, Tammy's talked about some of the things he's been doing, and he might want to add in a minute. But that, it's about having those leadership skills, those creative skills, problem solving that you get. But also beyond that, I will have done a session with the upper sixth this year on this term on how to use LinkedIn. We've done things on job applications, because it's a competitive world out there, and you need to be academically strong, but you need to have those work skills, because a lot of employers will say, well, kids are great, but they don't know how to behave in a workplace. They don't know how to prepare for a job interview. So it's more than the academics, which I think parents should be asking schools about when they go and visit. I don't know, Tammy, I don't know if you want to add anything about how well prepared you feel.
No, I think Mrs. Cree has said everything. It's really just, I think in London, really, there is that sense of in your academics, really, and in all the things you do, there are a lot of transferable skills that you get. So I talked about the house film competition, and that was where I found talking about creativity and innovation. And then I've had a lot of throughout all my leadership opportunities. I've had to do a lot of problem solving, and particularly that I had to, a couple of months back, I attended an MUN conference, and so that really was helped. MUN conferences really just help you with your listening skills, helps you to think better, and it just really helps you to um, know basically the idea of problem solving really. But I think in Lansing and in all the things you do, and even in the sporting activities you do, you learn a lot of skills that are really, really helpful in the workplace really as a whole. And I think that's what really stands us out really as a school. It's that it's skills development, it's the academics, and it's the co-curricular and that pastoral support. It's all just a really nice blend that really just brings out the whole child. And that's why I have that that's why through Lansing, I have that foundation that I'm being equipped with all the skills necessary, having those PSAT sessions really on a Saturday that really help us to learn to know more of gain more of those skills has just really helped me to place me on a very good pedestal that's helping me get ready for university life really.
Yes, and I have quite a number of things to add to that, and I really want our parents to really pay close attention to this. So first of all, there's a house tutor system at Lansing that I think is amazing. When you have a house tutor system in place, like Tammy was saying, it means that there's that extra academic support within the house, because there are tutors who are literally focused on the academic side of the students' life and really looking over reports, over their challenges, the opportunities, but just really focused on the academic performance of the child. So the house tutor system is amazing. It is really good. They have the house tutors. They come into the house. They know the boys, they know the girls, and they really help them. And the students don't feel alone academically. There's someone that they can talk to within the house, not just in the school. Now, the second thing is the liver destinations. that they have. I mean, you've heard Ayo is going to London School of Economics. I think Buji went on to Imperial. They have fantastic lever destinations. That just speaks volumes of how well the students are doing academically. But something Mrs. Cree said, I couldn't agree anymore, is beyond the academics, beyond the grades, how well is your child being prepared for life? In university, but after university. I think that the world we live in right now and the future of work, the labor market is completely and remarkably different than it has ever been before. Employers are no longer fixated on grades. In fact, we have children who are doing degree apprenticeships, and it's becoming quite a thing now. They want to know about the person, about service. How has this child served? How has this child demonstrated responsibility? What is the substance? What are the interpersonal skills that the child has? The problem solving, the critical thinking. This person, substance in the person is really key beyond the academics. And why that is such a passionate thing for me to stress is because I have many parents who will say to me, what is the academic rank of this school? Oh, I have never heard of this school before. Oh, I know of Eton. I know of this, that, and the other, or this all-girls school it's highly ranking. If you choose a school simply because of the location of that school on the league tables, you have made a colossal mistake, honestly. Do not get me wrong. The academic strength of a school is very important. But what I am saying is, please do not limit yourself to the academic rank of a school or to the popularity or the fame of a school. Go to the school, come for meetings like this, hear things like this. What is important is your child. I've had parents say to me, oh, some dads are more interested in saying, my child or my son attends this school, then actually what is really happening to the child. That is completely wrong. It is about how your child is thriving. What opportunities will your child be getting? How well does your child settling? How what's the sense of belonging? Integration is key in the school environment, in the school community. So I just thought to really stress that, because I know that many West African parents have that academic what's the word, shall I say, dominating thoughts when you're thinking of a school, but it's way more than that, particularly with the changing labor landscape that we have ahead of us. And another thing I'd like to add on the boarding system is the fact that you've got year 7 and 8 in a different boarding house. It's fantastic because you're giving them a prep school boarding like feel. So yes, 7 and 8 is so critical. They're young. My children go to a prep school, and I chose the prep school because I wanted them to not just be the younger two in a senior school, right? In the younger 2 years, the first 2 years, because in the prep school they get amazing opportunities. They don't feel like, oh, they're the babies and you've got older children. So I like that Lansing has a separate boarding house for the year 7 and year 8 children. And about what age a child can start boarding, if you find an amazing environment. My children started boarding from the age of 8, and they've absolutely loved it. I started boarding at the age of 9. Fantastic schools. They have thrived. Whether it's 8 or 9 or 12 or 16, we have 16-year-olds who are struggling in some schools. So, but yes, I understand the fears that parents have. But what I'm saying is that in the right boarding school environment, with the right house parents, oh, you can be rest assured your child will be very well looked after. So parents, I have been talking and we want to hear from you. I don't know if we have any more questions or anything in the chat room. Let me see. Please, we want to hear from you. We've got literally 2 more minutes. So please raise your hands. Would like to get your questions. I think we've answered the questions in the Q&A. So parents, please, please, please just signify by raising your hands or dropping a question, and we'll be happy to take the questions. Okay. Okay. So if there's no question, I'll just ask one more question to Tammy. And if you have a question whilst I'm asking Tammy, please feel free to raise your hands. But after that, we'll be bringing the meeting to a close. Tammy, I especially liked when you said there's a sense of community and a blend of cultures. And just listening to you, having met you in person, listening to you again today, I can just see that you've really thrived at Lansing. And can you tell us more about what that blend of cultures, the fact that there were others like you in the school, the opportunities you've received, what that has done for you as a person and what you're taking on with you, your university options, what you're studying, just what the next horizon is for you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Allen. Thank you everyone again it's been really amazing talking to everyone on the call. Um, I think the sense of community and the sense of culture really at Lansing College has just been really, really amazing. So I think in every society so I'm someone that is quite passionate about politics, and Lansing has spotted that rightly. So I was a member of the Global Politics Society, and where I had like there were different people of different nationalities on the same in that politics society where we were shedding issues on um, different in their different countries. So we had someone from Germany talking about the German elections. We've had someone from Hong Kong talking about the Chinese and just things related to those issues. I spoke about apartheid in South Africa. So there's really a lot in the sense of culture and the sense of community really translates a lot in the activities and in all that we do. And in London, really, I always marvel. I graduate this week, and I marvel at the amount of what I've done in 2 years as a student. And I tell myself that if I hadn't, I don't think if I had gone to another school like Lansing, I don't think I'd have gotten this. I don't think I'd have developed this individual. I came to the South Downs as a 16-year-old that was shy, who lived like over 3,000 miles away, didn't know what he was doing, leaving as an 18-year-old who is going out into the world, is going to Manchester to study international business, finance, and economics, a very competitive course. And it's only in Lansing, really, that they give you that strong support of university applications. So we had our head of sixth form who helped to support us in the UCAS application, and we have a separate head of overseas applications who helps us with university applications abroad. So there was just that really nice blend of helping us to get ready for life after Lansing, and it's just been amazing. And I would employ the parents really who really make that choice of bringing your child to Lansing is that bringing your child to Lansing you're going to unlock a special talent in that child that is really going to be beneficial in this world. And you will develop skills, and really that academic support, really, your child is going to come back booming, really.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Tammy, and congratulations as well. Okay, I think we have a question, and this will be the last question. It's in the Q&A, and the parents have said, sorry, I may have missed this, but what support does the school provide for SEN, especially dyslexia support?
So we have a whole kind of dedicated learning support team in the school, actually. So there's a lot of provision for people with various different kind of SEND needs, and particularly dyslexia. That's kind of quite a common one that we deal with. So as part of that, if someone has a pre-existing need, or actually if there's a sense they need to be tested, that's something we kind of carry out in school, and then they'll get support from an assigned member of the learning support team. So with kind of regular sessions with them, talking about kind of kind of action plans for helping them. They also create something called a pupil passport, actually. So it's a kind of a small document that says kind of what are the needs of the pupils. They talk with their the member of staff from the SEN team. What helps me to learn? What do I find are lesson plans that really help me? What kind of advice would I like the teacher to know? So they get a really kind of personalized document that kind of goes with them, and they change across their time at the college. If you teach that pupil, you'll get that as a member of staff. So you think, oh, okay, actually this kind of lesson is going to be best for that pupil, or actually this is the kind of support they need. So hopefully they get the personal support, but actually it's fed through to the whole kind of staff, so we can adapt teaching styles to individual pupils as well. And something that we kind of get a lot of training on as staff, actually. So the learning support team do a lot of in-house training for staff, so we really know kind of generally what are kind of good methods to help people with dyslexia, or if it's ADHD, whatever kind of thing it might be. So we get quite a lot of training and staff to help those pupils as well.
And certainly from the admissions perspective, you know, if anybody's had a pre-diagnosis, letting us have a copy of a report is really helpful, because it means that when we're doing the assessments and the interviews, we can actually be aware of that, and if necessary, allow extra time. So if something is known, it is important that we know as well as you come through the admissions process.
Yes, that is so true. And yeah, that transparency, the open conversations, letting the admissions team know, and obviously fitting that into the academic team and pastoral team as well. Thank you so much. I'm sure that's very reassuring to hear that there's that full-on support right from the beginning. Wow, it's been amazing. And I'm going to be handing over to Mr. Ernest to close us out. Thank you so much to our parents who have stayed on the call, and to those who have watched it on the replay this long. Thank you. Over to you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Allo. Thank you, Lansing College. This has been a very insightful session. I like the way the whole thing went, from the introduction and the different speaker and Tamilore. Wow, it's been a huge transformation. And just to think that you've only attended for 2 years, imagine if you had actually started from day one. Imagine the kind of man that you would have turned into already. So that's very good. We're very impressed with Lansing College, and we want to extend our sincere gratitude for giving us this closer look into your world, into what really makes Lansing College truly outstanding. You know, not just from the academic rigors, you know, your pastoral care and the value-driven leadership. You know, it's clear that Lansing College it's more than just a top school, actually. It might just be the right school for your child, talking about parents here on the call. And of course, I want to appreciate the parents and the guardians here for taking our time to invest in this session, and also hope that we take this conversation to the next level outside this group, and hoping that, yes, you start taking those steps and reach out to us, reach out to the school, and then we can get started to make sure you find the right school. Of course, we've already found the right school, and get you started with Lansing College, okay? So if you would like to continue this conversation, please explore admissions, and or you'd like to speak with our consultants, you want us to link you up with Lansing College, please, there should be a link on our chat box. Just check the link in the chat box, reach out to us, click the link and book a session with us. And yes, we'll start the journey. Okay, and of course, we'll be with you every step of the way. Thank you once again for being a part of this session, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, everyone, and do have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.